Michael Demeretz, and I am a licensed clinical social worker.
My name is Pastor Bob. I am a chaplain and a bereavement coordinator of Maxwell Hospice.
My name is Hang Lei. I am an RN case manager.
The hospice program is really to help support not just the patient, but the family as well, in terms of how they deal with the end-of-life process.
I consider myself as blessed to, at least before they go, spiritual care in terms of counseling, in terms of providing them with the necessary information that life continues when you die. We live in this world where the main issues is life and death. And I consider this not only as a job, but as a calling, as a pastor, and to touch other people's lives, especially when they're at the end of their rope and having issues like fear of the unknown, which is very common for people that are thinking about this stuff.
What really motivates me when I'm doing the admission process is when I get to meet the family members and the patients. Like I said, I try to get to know them. I try to get to know the family history, their background, before I even talk about what is hospice. Because the patient coming, hearing that a hospice nurse is coming, they just always have this misconception that, hey, this hospice nurse is going to come to tell me one thing: I'm dying. But that's not the case. When I come, I'm trying to just get to know them first as a person, because that's who they are in my eyes. They're not someone that has cancer. They're not someone that has a renal disease or an end-stage heart disease. I know them by their name, how old they are, what they like, do they have pets, like what are they going to do after they get discharged from a hospital, like what are their plans? It's not all about death and dying. Hospice is actually a positive thing for the family members and the patient. It's now we're bringing all of the things that they see in the hospital, the nurses, the CNAs or the people that help bathe them, the social worker, the volunteer services, all the things that are offered in the hospital, we're offering them now at their home, at the ward care that they're going to be at, or at the nursing home. Therefore, the patient don't have to go back to a hospital, get transported back and forth, because that's very exhausting for a person who's also very, sometimes they don't feel good, they're sick. And it also saves the family time from worrying when they have to be transferred back and forth like that. Now we're bringing all these services to their home. I explain that to them as it is a positive service. There's many patients where I say, a lot of my patients, they graduate from hospice. So it's not like it's a serious thing where when you're admitted under hospice, you're dying. That's never the case. Some patients get better.
The patients and their families get some kind of understanding that life is not the end, but there's a next life to live. And it really depends on how ready you are in that condition.
The things that they tell you seem to be so much more truer. Their feelings are current. They're going to tell you things that they may not share with other people.
Every week before I go, I say goodbye to my patients. I always tell them, I love them. They're in my prayers, they're in my heart. To give them, that burst of energy, minus, they expect to hear from their families because they know they're loved from their families. But when they hear it from someone that is technically, in the beginning, a stranger, and then over time becomes a part of their lives as their nurse, as their caretaker, along with the person that, for example, along with the person that bathes them, other members of our team telling them that, our social worker, volunteer specialist, our spiritual counselor, such as our pastors and fathers telling them that, it makes them feel very good. And sometimes it's those services that actually make them feel better and they graduate from hospice because we're giving them the extra boost of love, of support that they need, and then their body just reacts very positively to it.
As a chaplain, that would be the best part that I can do to help these people that are having issues about their condition.
I began my work in hospice in 1979, so that makes me old, but not that old. 35 years is a long time in working in the hospice industry, so I've seen an awful lot of things come and go. I've been doing this work for 35 years. I will continue to do this work until the end of my own life. It's that important to me.